The air on Oak Island has a weight to it. It always has. Today, on August 24th, 2025, that weight felt heavier than ever. The island felt thick with the ghosts of failed attempts and the dust of 2 centuries of unanswered questions. We were in a small, unassuming clearing on the western edge of the island, a place most had written off. The ground here was notoriously stubborn, a tangled mess of roots, glacial till. The team's morale was a flickering candle in a hurricane. Another season was drawing to a close, yet Rick Lagina stood firm, his gaze fixed on a particular patch of earth, a spot with no historical significance on any known map. Marty watched, concerned but loyal. He spoke of a connection, an inexplicable certainty that this forgotten corner held a key. The breakthrough came without fanfare. Gary Drayton, his senses honed by decades of searching, was the first to notice it. His metal detector, which had been stubbornly silent, emitted a low, broad hum. He signaled to the others, his expression uncharacteristically serious. Shovels were replaced with trowels, and hands were scraping away the soil with a surgeon's precision. The only sounds were the gentle scraping and the heavy breathing of the crew. Slowly, the shape began to emerge from the dense, dark soil. It was stone, a large, flat stone, a capstone. They had uncovered a cairn, a burial marker, hidden just a few feet beneath the surface. The mood shifted instantly from frustrated searching to solemn reverence. Who was buried here? Why here, far from the money pit? This cairn was a testament to a person whose story had been swallowed by the island's secrecy. Rick stood back, his face a mask of conflicting emotions. He placed a hand on the largest stone, a silent gesture of respect. Removing the stones would be painstaking. The island was holding its breath. The work that followed was the most painstaking I have ever witnessed. Each rock was lifted with care, almost as if they feared waking the dead. Beneath the final layer of stones, they found not a skeleton, but a void. The metal detector screamed now, a solid, undeniable tone. A large metallic object lay just inches deeper. A dark, rectangular shape began to resolve itself. It was made of lead, its surface dull and pitted by time, but remarkably intact. It took 2 people to lift it from its earthen tomb. They placed it on a clean tarp, and the team just stood there, staring at it. Just a single, crudely etched initial. The letter L. For Lagina, a palpable sense of release seemed to sweep through the clearing. The journey from the dig site to the war room was the quietest I've ever known on the island. Back in the war room, the familiar comfort of maps and charts felt inadequate. Rick and Marty stood side by side, their faces pale. Experts were on hand, ready with tools to carefully pry open the sealed container. Tiny flakes of seal chipped away, each small sound echoing like a gunshot. Rick placed a hand on Marty's shoulder, support and shared apprehension. Finally, with a soft crack, the seal broke. The lid was lifted away. Instead of gold, nestled inside on dried seaweed were 2 items. A small leather-bound book, its cover warped but preserved by the lead casing. A small silver locket, tarnished almost black with age. The conservator opened the journal to the first page. The ink was faded, the script clear. It was Italian. A translator was patched through, her voice calm in the charged room. "My name is Antonio Lagina." The words hit the room like a physical blow. Marty opened the locket. Inside, 2 miniature portraits, a man and a woman. The page read, "The Journal of Antonio Lagina, 1851. Rick and Marty stared in absolute stunned silence. That name was not a stranger's. It was their own. The locket bore an engraved initial, A, for Antonio. An expert noted the striking resemblance to the Lagina family photos. This discovery changed everything. History and family folded into one. For years, they thought they chose this quest. Now it seemed they were called. Page by page, the translator breathed life back into Antonio's words. Antonio was a stonemason from Italy who immigrated in the early 1850s. He left for a better life for Elena, the woman in the locket. He was drawn into a circle of wealthy men, a shadowy consortium. They needed a man with his skills. The pay would secure his family's future. His journal described tunnels, flood systems, and traps, engineering beyond the era. He described finding a chamber not of gold, but of artifacts and documents. The financiers argued. Greed overcame restraint. In the chaos, Antonio stole a single document and fled, knowing he might die for it. If this is found, know that a Lagina died here. He described a terrible fall, a broken leg, and the sound of pursuers closing in. With his last strength, he sealed his story in a lead box and built a cairn. He had died protecting a discovery. He had not been a victim of the curse, but its martyr. His words were a testament, not for gold, but for the truth. He had ensured his name would not be erased. His final act was not an end, but a beginning. As dawn broke over Oak Island, the air was no longer heavy with failure, but filled with purpose. Rick and Marty stood alone by the empty grave of their ancestor. The years of frustration, the financial strain, the public skepticism, all melted away in the light of this discovery. They had found their own story. The search had become a family legacy. They vowed to finish what Antonio started, not for gold, but for truth and family. Every scoop of dirt and every scan would be done in his name. They had not found the vault. They had found something far more enduring, their legacy. This discovery stunned the Lagina brothers and changed the story of Oak Island forever. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.